All right, Chase, take us through a lap at Chicago.
A lap at Chicago is really tricky. You get into turn one, it's a really fast corner, kind of blind. You can't really see the apex of the corner, so you kind of just turn in there and hope that you get it right. Getting into turn two, to me, I feel like one of the hardest corners there. It just naturally wants you to turn in early. That gets you on the Lakeshore Drive. Obviously really, really fast, really scenic part of the racetrack as well. But it goes into what I would say is probably the sketchiest part of the racetrack, by far the roughest braking zone we have. But it's this part of the racetrack where we're running, I don't know, 170 miles an hour. You're bouncing through all the parts of the street, and then you have to literally funnel down into this part of the racetrack, turn four, I think it is, that is about a lane and a half wide. And it is just so sketchy every time you go through there. That leads you on to the straightaway into turn five, which is an extremely fast part as well. Turn five is, I feel like, the biggest passing zone on the racetrack. It's a left-hander, heavy brake zone, but it is very, very wide, so you can kind of make some moves there. And that goes kind of into the part where I feel like it's the city section. You're right by the skyscrapers, really, really narrow. I think you're literally on only 2 or 3 lanes wide of like actual streets. You go around the kind of half circle monument, which is a fun part of the track, and then you go to what's, I feel like, the coolest part of the racetrack as far as just turning laps. You're turning this like half circle, and then you jump this, like, I don't know what it is in the racetrack, but it's really rough right there, and you're turning right at the same time. So you're sliding, and it's only a lane and a half wide, and you come out right by the wall. Then you do this heavy braking again, leads on to the final little straightaway. You cross over the bridge where the cool TV shots always are, with all the, you know, the city lights in the background, and then onto the final corner, which is fairly simple, I feel like, but certainly can be hard on restarts onto the final front straightaway.
How rough or bumpy is Chicago?
Chicago is certainly hard because it is a street. You know, it's different every single time we go there. You don't know where they've paved it or where they haven't paved it, you know, where maybe some cars broke down, left a big oil spot or whatever. You know, the paint is different, slickness in certain areas. So it's always a challenge anytime you run on a street circuit, just because the variables are changing nonstop and year to year for sure.
What's one corner area on the track? This is the action corner.
Yeah, I feel like turn five, I want to say it's turn five, whatever the left-hander is after the long straightaway, is certainly where I feel like most of the passing happens. But honestly, every corner at Chicago is kind of this action corner, because any of them can be extremely treacherous. You know, there's just no room for error at Chicago. It's so tight, it's so narrow, and that's why you see a lot of crashes every time we go there.
If you were a meteorologist, predict the weather in Chicago.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would definitely say it's gonna rain at some point in Chicago. If NASCAR's in town, every time we've went there, it's rained at some point, which honestly I feel like has saved the drivers. It is so hot at Chicago inside the car. It's hotter than anywhere we go as we run the mufflers there. It would be interesting to see kind of what a weekend in Chicago looks like. You know, the fans definitely have not got to see the full NASCAR experience because it's rained every single week. Hopefully it's, you know, sunny and 75.